Hey, thanks for coming by. It's my YouTube site, Tori Magoo 44. Today is St. Patty's Day, and I'm just about ready to head out. I got on my green, my little goofy things. I'm gonna have some fun. But also on the other end, some serious things are happening. People continue to call me. I'm ever amazed that people with all the information that's on the internet, people are, excuse me, still joining the Sea organization. Not many, but some, and some are still joining Scientology. And it is just as awful as it's always been in that they very quickly get these people to shut down, not look at the internet, not read books, not, don't. So I'm going to keep saying this. If you're joining the Sea Org, or if you join the Sea Org, or if you join Scientology, don't let them shut out your free speech, your free thought. It's part of your creed. It says, wait, I'm going to get it. Hang on. I got it right here. Just a second. I do. I think it's in Scientology '08. That's why I kept these. Somebody brought me these. And I thought, I don't want these. And then I thought, now wait a minute. Maybe this would be a good thing to have because there probably is stuff in here that I can show people. I'm not just saying this. Here's the church, the creed of the Church of Scientology. Let's see if we can get this in here, where it says that all men have the inalienable right to conceive, choose, assist, or support their own organizations, churches, or government. Now, that's not it. The next one, that all men have inalienable rights to think freely, to talk freely, to write freely, their own opinions, and to counter or utter and write upon the opinions of others. Okay. So there you go, which they've altered that already because it used to be man has the inalienable right to free speech and free thought. Now they've added this other stuff, but still, that's fine. There it is. That's in the creed of the Church of Scientology in their book '08. Okay, so I'm not just making it up. You, whoever you are, if you're thinking about joining, or if you have joined, or if you're in the Sea Org, or if you're in Scientology and you hear this video, and I know a lot of people are watching these videos now who are in, you do not have to stay. They make you feel like you have to stay. My suggestion is don't route out. Because once you route out, their intention actually in routing out is A, to get you to come back in and stay in. B, to put you in a lower condition because you were trying to leave. C, if they can't get you to do A or B, they're going to just cave the shit out of you so that you feel really crummy, really bad for as long as they have to until they can then rope you back in. That's the routing out procedure, period. So don't route out. Call somebody you know or call me if you have to be above age for me to come pick you up. But if you are above age, if you're like an adult and you want me to come pick you up, I will. I certainly will. And if I have to call the police, I'll call the police and we'll come get you. But you have to make the call and say, I want you to come get me. That's the thing that people don't get when you're in. And when you're in, they've built it in so much. Don't look, don't talk, don't listen. But I just showed you what your own creed says. Man has the inalienable right to free speech and free thought. And we're just talking about speech here. We're not talking about burning down buildings or something like that. We're talking about talking to people, listening to people, learning both sides. And then you make up your own mind. I don't care. If you want to stay in that organization, once you've learned both sides, you go for it. Then I'm okay on it. I'm not okay with them stopping free speech. I'm not okay with that. It's not okay that you can't learn the facts of both sides, the full facts. They'll show you like a couple things and say, now you know the facts, see? No, they did the same thing with me. Believe me, I have tons of stories of it, of stuff where they just twisted things around. It wasn't true at all, including L. Ron Hubbard's son, where I was working with them, setting up radio interviews on Dianetics. All of a sudden, overnight, nope, we don't want to talk about Dianetics anymore. We want to talk about Ben Corden and L. Ron Hubbard, Messiah or Madman, written by Ben Corden and L. Ron Hubbard Jr. And I'm like, what? And I go to the executives, I'm like, what are they talking about? I couldn't even imagine it. I was such a brainwashed person. And they said, Tori, go home. Come back tomorrow. We'll have it handled. And I've told you this before, but some new person might hear it. They had a notarized thing from L. Ron Hubbard Jr. saying, I had no problem with my father. I did not co-author that book. I attest this is true, L. Ron Hubbard Jr. And I looked at him like, how could this be? It's notarized. And they said, Tori, they're liars. We've told you that all along. That's what the critics are. They lie. They make things up. It's not true. And I was like, wow, that is really documented evidence for me. Well, it took me, that was in 1988, I think, 87, 88. I didn't escape out until July of 2000. And after that, I started having parties. And at one of my parties, Ben Gordon came, who's the co-author with that book, Madman or Messiah, L. Ron Hubbard, Messiah or Madman. And I said, okay, what happened? And he said, do you want to know what happened? And I said, I definitely want to know what happened. And they said, they paid him off that night. That was it. Wrote him, made a couple $1,000,000. There you go. Get out of here. Done. Sign your name on the dotted line. He did. There you go. And you can listen to some talk. He's talked a bunch about it. There's some, you can go on YouTube and type in L. Ron Hubbard Jr. and there's some stuff that comes up, or in Google. But he's spoken out about it. So I don't know if he talked about that particular thing, but he's talked about a lot of stuff about his dad. Definitely, about him doing drugs and stuff like that are very good. So anyway, that's the Church of Scientology. If you really want to join it, learn both sides before you go in. Don't be thinking you're going to go in there and then you'll learn both sides, because it doesn't work that way. Once you're in, you're in. And now they got these phony things that they're saying, oh, you're really not going to be doing this. You're really going to be doing that. No. Once you join the Sea Org, you're part of the Sea Org, period. They own you. That's it. And that's what they build in. It's not really true. It's a billion-year contract. Is a billion-year contract legal? Hell no. No, not in any way, shape, or form. But they make you feel like it. And so people feel like, well, I have to stay. No, you don't have to stay. It's nothing more than walking across the line in the middle of a street. That's it. You're on one side, you walk across the other, you're free. They may be on that side screaming at you, yelling at you, whatever. It doesn't matter. Say goodbye. See you later. Thank you so much. I really had a great time. And I'll see you on the other side. Ciao. Goodbye. And come on over here. You will be amazed. I was shocked at how many people were out of the Church of Scientology that I knew that were out. I mean, I've said this many times, but for at least 2 years, I was riding around with Spanky Taylor, who's my friend, who's now come out in Lawrence Wright's book, Going Clear. And we'd be riding around and she'd mention a name and I'd say, well, they're still in, right? And she'd say, hell no, they left, 8 years ago. I mean, it was just amazing how many people, she would mention a name. I'd say they're still in. She'd say, no, they've been out for years. But they have, people leave and they slide it right under the rug. They don't want anybody to know that we've left, because then other people might start thinking, well, if all those people have left, maybe I should leave too. So they just don't say anything anymore. They used to do it all the time. They'd post a big SP declares up in ethics, and you could go read who'd been declared suppressive and all their evil acts, which half of them the church just makes up, maybe all of them. I know for me, they're just all twisted things that they just made up. It's like Hubbard said, if you don't have shit on somebody, just make it up. They do. They really do. So anyway, don't join the Sea organization. I know it sounds good. It really does. I really thought so too. I really did. I didn't know they didn't have the enforced abortions when I joined the Sea Org. Now they do. You can't have children. So if you're a woman, you have to really think that through. You really don't ever want to have children ever, even if you're very young. It's hard to really, plan out your future as a young person, but you want to be able to have that option that you can have a child if you decide to. You can't when you're in the Sea Org. That's it. Boom, you're routed. I mean, read Mary Tabayoyan. She wrote, ladies, if you're thinking about joining the Sea Org, read this. It's the first thing I read when Andrea said, I don't think Scientologists are bad. I just think they're misinformed. And I read that and I cried for 4 hours. I couldn't stop. It so blew my mind. I had no idea. And it was just such a shock. It was so horribly awful that this was the church that I was part of, and they were making these women, not only making them and forcing them getting an abortion, but they had to be back on post the next day. It was awful. So anyway, don't join the Sea Organization. It's not what you think it is. And there's tons of stories out there. You do not have to believe me. Go on the internet and type in the Sea Organization. Go to Xenu TV, XENU TV. Listen to all the interviews of different people. Go to Nightline. There's interviews on that. There, with Mark and Marty Rathbun and Mike Rinder. Amy Scobie, Jeff Hawkins, Nancy Maney, all these people were in the Sea Organization, and their stories are out there. And I know Scientology black PRs them to death, just like they do me. But after a while, you have to think, really, all these people, all the executives that ran the church are all evil? If that's true, what does that say about the tech? The tech and the e-meter are supposed to be able to find suppressive people. I'm a flag interned and trained security checker. Sorry, tonight I'm in a goofy mood. But I am. I'm trained in it. And they're supposed to be able to find anything. Hubbard said, if you miss one withhold, you lose your certs forever. You have to go all the way back to the beginning and start over. That's how serious they are on it. So really, somebody's missed an awful lot of withholds then, if that's true, because Hubbard said people only leave if they have missed withholds. That's the reason they leave. So if that's true, which it isn't, but if it were true, then somebody's missed an awful lot of missed withholds, because there's thousands of us out here at this point. Many that aren't speaking out, but there's at least hundreds that are speaking out. And something's really wrong on that. So you got to look at, well, wait a minute. Is the tech really working or isn't it? It isn't, in a number of different ways. Think of yourself. If you have any problems, is it really fixing it? No, not really. It's the promise that it will fix it, but it's not fixing it, and it won't fix it. That's the bad news. But there are other things out here that will fix you and will help you. But you got to come on out, because that isn't it. That's the Scientology Truman Show. That's what you're in. Trust me on that. I'll take to the bank. It's the Scientology Truman Show, and you cannot see the walls. So start looking around. See the walls. Look at how many cameras are around on the complex. Why? It's a church. Why do they have cameras on every other foot? There's a camera. Really? Do they have to record you walking down the street? Oh, I know, it's to protect you from the evil enemies. Look at me. Do I really look like someone that evil? Really? Come on. On the 21st, you can vote against David Miscavige or me as the Merchants of Chaos. And trust me on this one, David Miscavige should win as the Merchant of Chaos. There you go on that. That's Tony Ortega's. I'll put the link in here if you haven't signed up on it. It's fun. He's got some great articles that he writes every single day. And thank you, Tony. All right. So all of you, I love you. Thank you. And this is my last. Happy St. Patty's Day. I hope you've had a great day. Bye-bye. Peace out.